senior coach workbook, which is this. I would show her the workbook that Pat had, so that when she's ready to get started, she knows we got a training system, and I bring a couple business cards. In setting this up, one of the things, typically, I've already done the identify, qualify, and approach. So I've been working with her. She's lost over 120 pounds. I know her why. I know her why when it comes to health, and I'm actually learning about her family, and I'm learning about some other things that are important to her in her life. So when I invite her to meet with me, you know, this is not a difficult conversation. This is actually two friends taking the next level of a conversation. If this were a three-way call, which like Robert was talking about, what if she was inviting one of her clients to look at coaching and she wanted me to be the expert to do the interview, which is a great way to do this. Your first time, like your first practice partner call with the client, instead of you presenting the program, let your mentor do it. So if you want to use this process, like if she had one of her, we've done several of these where she's got me on the phone, on Zoom or whatever, to meet one of her clients who's done well to consider becoming a coach. I think, did we do this with
we didn't do it with
Brendan? Okay. So you can do this on Zoom as well. And you know, basically, you want to set it up so the health coach introduces the health coach candidate. So she, let's say in this case, if it's Laura, right? Rachel, I'm sorry. If Rachel were checking this out for the first time, she would introduce her to me. And then she would just say, hey, I'd like to introduce Greg. You know, she's been great on the program. She's done this and this and this, and she currently does this. It's not a big build-up. We're not edifying Rachel. She's edifying me, just introducing Rachel. Then she's going to edify me. And so she would say, oh, you got to meet Greg. He's lost 50 pounds. He's done this. He's been with the company forever. He's one of the doctors. So she would edify me, and then that's it. Then she would just hand it off to me and take notes. But in this case, it's going to be her and I, and we're going to go through the process instead of being a three-way call. It's just a one-on-one. Now, if it were a three-way call, I would want to try to build some rapport and connect with that person. So I would say, hey, it's nice to meet you, Rachel. You know, gosh, Karen thinks really highly of you. Sounds like she's done a great job of supporting you. How did you guys get to know each other? And I'm going into their background a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself. So I'm congratulating her on her program. Tell her about your success on the program. Has anyone noticed your success? We're just getting to know each other. And then I would say, okay, well, I'm really excited to share what Take Shape for Life is with. Let's go into that. And then I would get permission to ask her questions, just like Whitney did. Hey, there's something really fun. I love coaching. And one of the things that I love is, even though it's not for everyone, is it okay if I ask you a few questions to find out about your goals and see if Take Shape for Life is a fit for you? So I would get her permission, and then I would go right into the trilogy wheel. So let's say that in this case, it's not Rachel, it's Karen. I've been coaching her, I've been watching her, and I know kind of her things. Let me just turn this off. I don't need that anymore. There's a way to turn this off somehow.
Just slide it top.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Karen and I would be sitting down together, and the first thing I do is I would go back and I would say, Karen, do you remember when we first started, we talked about your healthy body and you set your goals about what you wanted to do as far as getting healthy, so when Steve came home from being overseas, you could surprise him, and talked about, well, when it comes to Take Shape for Life, there's three things we call the trilogy of optimal health: healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. So today, I'd like to talk to you about some of those other things, but let's also do a check-in on your healthy body. So let's start with that.
All right.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being optimal, where would you say you are now with your healthy body?
Let's say about an 8.
8, okay, congratulations. And you were back like a 5 when we first started this program.
Yeah, I think more like a 2.
Okay, so tell me, what would have to happen for you to go from an 8 to a 9 or to a 10?
I think just really being consistent and integrating the habits that I have learned through this program, and
so I write down habits.
And you know, when life throws you curveballs, just being able to maneuver those a little bit more quickly. And
okay, dealing with curveballs and dealing with adversity.
Yep.
Okay, anything else you want to work on as far as activity or any sleep or any of those things?
Everything's working a lot better. I'm sleeping better, I'm exercising more regularly, and I'm more active, and I'm off of all my medications. So, you know, those are huge pluses. So.
Awesome. So the formula here is this. The formula is, write this down. Number 1, ask their current score. What's your current score? 1 to 10, 10 is optimal. Number 2, what would have to happen for you to bump it up? And if they're at a 4, don't shoot for 10. That'll overwhelm them. But if they're at a 4, you can shoot for a 6 or a 7, right? She was at an 8, so I said 9 or 10. Second question is, what would have to happen for you to get to the next level? And then the third step is feed back what you heard. Okay, so for you to go from an 8 to a 9, you would want to have more steady habits and keep working on the habits of health. And number 2, get better at dealing with curveballs and adversity. Excellent. So now we're together. I would go, okay, so let's look at healthy mind. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being completely depressed and 10 being in bliss and just life is as good as it can be. What would you say is your healthy mind score right now?
I would say an 8.
An 8, okay. So I'm writing that down. Now, are there anything in here, stress, time for your family, fulfillment, impact on society, spiritual growth, volunteer work, hobbies, time freedom, is there anything in here that you'd like to work on?
I think just having more time for more of those.
Okay, so time.
And managing stress a little bit better. That's part of the whole, thing that I'm working on now is dealing with those curveballs.
So I'm circling stress. And then what I do is next to stress, I'll say, what kind of stress are you talking about? When you say curveball, what kind of things stressors are you dealing with?
Financial stress, debt, the pressures of husband retiring and making sure that our income is sufficient to address that when that happens. And,
Great. Okay.
Having a growing family, there's a lot of expenses.
We're going to talk a little bit more in detail on finance in a second. You also mentioned time and having more time freedom.
Yeah.
What would you like to have more? If you could take your score from, what did you say your score was?
An 8.
If you could take your score from an 8 to a 9 or a 10, how much extra time would you need? And what would you do with that time?
I think it's more time off, time away from a lot of the daily activities of life, because I'm juggling a lot and being able to take a break. And my husband's working pretty much 2 full-time jobs right now, so we don't have time as a family together as much as we would like.
Okay.
But that's going to change when he retires.
So I'm hearing 2 things. In the short term, until he retires, it's time for yourself, for a little personal care because you're so busy, and then time for you and your family.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm writing these things down, I'm taking notes, and I'm feeding it back to her, right? You with me so far? Simple process, right? Okay, now you mentioned finances. Let's give yourself a score. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being optimal, 1 being bankrupt, what would you say is your financial score right now?
I would say a 6.
A 6, okay, so I circle that. Now, what would have to happen from that 6 to go to an 8? Are there any things you mentioned?
The big one, debt-free.
Debt-free?
That's the one that hangs over us. That's our goal, is to get out of debt so that we don't have that pressure on us.
Okay, if you could get out of debt in the next year or 2, what would your goal be? Is how long would you like to see when you get that?
That would be amazing. To get
Yeah?
out of debt in a year.
Okay. Do you know approximately how much you would have to save up or to put aside to pay off your debt?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Okay.
I'd say north of $100,000.
Okay. So it could be a couple of years
Yeah.
for you to get that. But when you did that, what would your score be if you got that debt-free taken care of?
I would say it would be a 9.
Awesome. Anything else on here that you want to work on from healthy finances? Retirement, savings, donations?
Yeah, to be able to give more and to be able to have my income be more disposable, have the savings set aside for the unexpected,
Okay.
and then also to be able to give more.
Okay, so I call that reserves. So I'll put, you want to have some reserves. How much would you like to have set aside for, just so you have that peace of mind?
6 months.
6 months worth of expenses?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm writing all these things down. And donations. Are there any favorite causes that you like to, you already know that you want to contribute to?
Oh yeah, there's several.
Okay. You want to give me 1 or 2 of them?
Various ministries and homeless shelters and feeding food programs for people.
So if you're able to do that, if you're able to pay down your debt, maybe it took a couple years, but you could work on it and start paying it down. You could start saving for your reserves, have 6 months in savings in case of a rainy day, and actually have some extra money left over for the charities and things you want to do. That would raise your score significantly.
Yeah, that would be a 10 for me.
Excellent. Let's talk about now, people have noticed. I mean, you've been doing this, people have asked you about it, you've referred a few people to me already.
Yes.
If you could think about 5 people in your life who could use this program, do you think there's at least 5 people that you know who could benefit?
Yeah.
Give me a couple of names off the top of your head.
Joe and Anne and John and Charlie and Kim.
Okay. Now, some of these people, this could be as transformational as it's been for you. Some of these people could really change their life. One of the things I love about coaching is that it really gives you an opportunity to make a difference in other people's lives and to set up the goal for you to have this balance that you want for all three areas so that you can get, 9s and 10s in all three areas. And you've done so well with this first step. I'm so proud of you. And that's why people have noticed, because you're a role model. If there was amount of money that would benefit you and your family, if you were to become a coach, and you could earn a certain amount per month, that could really make a difference and take the pressure off on the finances and some of this other stuff, what would it be?
$5,000 a month.
$5,000 a month, okay. So if we could work together and get you to that level, maybe it took a year or two, but you could start earning that kind of income, that would be exciting for you.
Yes, it could.
All right, great.
Great.
So, okay, so let's talk about, let me kind of explain what Take Shape for Life is. I know you know about the program, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. If she wasn't on the program, if she hadn't been on the program, I'd bring the green folder, and I'd take 3 minutes and I would explain the 5-in-1, the Habits of Health, the Bio Network, and the coach. I would take 3 minutes and just explain that if she hadn't been on the program, but she has, so I'm going to skip over that. So I go back to this, and I use this as my PowerPoint presentation. This kind of walks through, and I would just talk about, at Take Shape for Life, what I love about it is we get paid very well for doing good work, for helping people. And I love being in service. It's so rewarding. It's been so fun watching you transform and seeing Steve's face when he saw you if you lost your 100 pounds. It made me so happy. Can you imagine how good it would feel if you could do that for somebody else and pay it forward?
That would be amazing.
What's great about this program is we got it all figured out. We've got the business model. Dr. Anderson, who's our medical director, just as the program, the 5-in-1, works really well, so does our business. We have a whole training system that I will work with you to go through step by step on how to find your clients, how to interview them, how to get them started, just like we did. And I'll be with you every step of the way. There's a big problem of obesity in America. We don't have to beat that to death. But what's great about the way that our coaching works is that we really work with people and meet them where they are. We have online support. We have all kinds of tools. So there's no selling. There's no inventory. I'm not like, you've never had me tell you what to do. We've always find out what you want to do, and then we've helped you get there. So that's what I like about it. There's no selling. There's no inventory. It's not expensive. It's only $200 to get started. The field, our coaches, are really what drives the culture of Take Shape for Life, and that starts with Dr. Anderson. And even though we work with this company that's very strong, MetaFast, it's been around for 30 years, really it's a culture of people helping people. And all the coaches, they all work together. So you'll notice that when we get together for meetings, there's all kinds of cool people, there's all kinds of support. And besides me, you also have Dr. Anderson, you have Whitney, you have Lori Anderson, so you have a whole team of people that will be behind you to help you reach your goals of $5,000 a month. Now there's two types of businesses. Now you can start and you can earn $5,000 a month just coaching clients. That's step one, client and support and development. But if you really want to have time freedom, which is what sounds like important to you also, is some of your clients will do just what you're doing. Is they'll say, wow, I might be interested in coaching. And if they're interested in coaching, we'll talk to them together and we'll start helping you build a team. So how that works in the compensation is that as a health coach, you get paid between 15 and 30. I want to go through this page real quick about the compensation, just in general. And you can read over this. It's real simple. It's way less detailed than Stan and I went through earlier. It's just the basics that for those analytical people, for someone like her, she might not even care about the percentage. She just might care about, okay, if I want to make $5,000 a month, how many clients do I need? And I would say you'd probably need about 60 clients. So, and right now I have about 50. So if we can do that. But I also have a team. So if you want to build a team, what's great about that is not only will you be coaching your clients, but you'll have me as your business coach. And then when some of your clients become coaches, then you'll be their business coach and they'll be your health coach. And then I'll be the business leader supporting the whole team. So I'll be with you and your team the whole journey. The point I'm trying to make here is that she's not on her own. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. She's got a team of people behind her and she's going to be able to do this together. Then the last page is, okay, I talked to you about your why. We've said that your goal for your healthy body is to integrate more of the habits of health. I think by being a coach, that's been one of the biggest blessings for me. It's really helped me integrate the habits of health into my routine. It's a daily pattern for me. I don't even have to think about it. So I think that will help you with your healthy body. The healthy mind, well, you talked about having time for your family,